Today I am going to show you how to use Keynote to create a book review for your classroom. Now before we do that, I'm going to also show you how to get this pointer set up on your iPad. So first you go to settings. Now this will help me to show you where to click on and for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go under accessibility, and then I'm going to go to touch, and I'm going to go to assistive touch, and it has to be selected on. If it's off, the pointer will disappear, and if it's on, it will show. So I'm going to keep it on. Now today we're going to go to Keynote. So I'm going to open Keynote, and I'm going to start a new presentation by clicking plus in the top right. Now it's going to ask me for which theme I want to use. I'm going to start with just basic white. It's going to take a second to open. I'm going to delete all this, so I tap on it and click delete. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my settings on the top and figure out what size I want my document to be. And I can make it any size I want. So I go to the three dots on the top, that's our menu. And I'm going to go to document setup. And in here, I can change the theme, or under slide size, I can pick how I want the slide to look like. So I think for this purpose, I am going to do 4x3. But you can do anything. You can do a square, you can do a custom size where you put in the pixels, the point size, but I'm going to go with 4x3 for this. I'm going to click done, and there we are. Now today I will be creating a book review for my classroom, and I'm going to start by creating some sort of a template for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circle in the middle, and then I'm going to do 4 boxes in between. So how do I do that? I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to go to the shapes. I'm going to add a circle, okay? And I'm going to make the circle a little bigger. And when the yellow lines show, that show me exactly where the center is. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Let's see. Perfect. Now, I do not want this to be black. So I'm going to go to the paintbrush where I can edit how it looks like. And I'm actually going to put make it no fill. And then I'm going to add a border around it. And I can figure out how wide I want the border. So I'm going to make it 4 points. You can make it as thick as you want. I'm just going to do 4. And I'm going to keep the color black like it is. Okay. So there it is. I can move it again. Now it's in the center. Now I'm going to add the 4 lines to divide and have 4 other boxes. So I'm going to go again to the plus on the top. And here I can pick any shapes, and I'm going to pick the line. And what I do is I'm going to take it up here on top. Now if I hold the blue circle, the blue dot, either one of them, I can change the direction of the line. So again, the yellow one is to help me figure out where the center is. And then to make that line the same thickness as the circle, I will go to the paintbrush, and I will change it like the other one to 4. And now it's the same thickness. Now I can see that it's a little bit is sticking out. So I'm going to pull it just a little bit. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the same line on the bottom. So instead of making a new line and going to plus, I can copy and paste it actually. So I'm going to tap on it, and I'm going to do copy. And then I'm going to tap here on the bottom. I'm going to paste. I'm going to move it where I want it. And there it is. I'm going to do the same thing on the horizontal lines. So I'm going to take this line and copy it and paste it. Now, because right now it's vertical, to change it to horizontal, I can pull on the blue, and you can see the degrees. I want it to be at 0 degrees. Now, so that they go to the edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the vertical lines. I'm going to copy it and paste it. Okay. Alright, so now I have my middle part and I have 4 boxes. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add titles to each of the boxes. So I'm going to go to plus sign again. And I'm going to add text. Now I'm going to take it and move it over here. And I can change the size in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write book title and author. Okay. And I am going to actually change this to the different colors. So I'm going to go to the paintbrush and go to text. And I will go to text color. And right now it's gray. I will change it to black. And if I go back, I'm going to make it, put it in different font. I really like using this font, so I'm going to set it to this font. I'm going to make it a little bigger and maybe make it a little bold. Okay, perfect. So right now it says book title and author. Now to add other text boxes, I can do the same thing, just going to plus and add text. Or if I just want to use this and have the same settings with the font and the size, all I can do is I can tap on it like I did with the lines, and then I can do copy, and then I can do paste. And for this box, I'll double tap. I'll select it. And if this is hard for you to see, you can always zoom in with your 2 fingers. And I'm going to write, what is this book about? Question mark. I'm going to paste another one here. And for here, I'm going to put, who would you recommend this? Who would you recommend the book to, and why? Now you're like, oh no, it's not fitting in here. So what I can do is if I pull on the blue, I can make it as big as I want it to be. And then finally, I'm gonna add one more. And this one's gonna say, draw your favorite part of the book. And again, we'll make it smaller. Okay. And here I'm actually going to add one more thing. I'm going to put what type of genre is it? So fiction or non-fiction. Now you may have been wondering, how did I get the dash without going to numbers? All I can actually do is pull from the top down, and that's going to show up just like that. Okay, so here I have my questions, what the book is going to about, and now I can actually start adding content to here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find an image and add it in that middle circle. That's what the image of the book is going to be. So I've decided to do The Giver, which is a book I used when I used to teach 5th grade. So how do I add an image to a Keynote? There's multiple ways, but I'm going to show you one of the faster ones using Safari and finding an image online. So first I'm going to slide up and see my apps. Now if you don't have Safari, you may open it before so that you have it on your deck. So if I click on and tap on Safari, it's just going to open it. Now that's fine, we can do it this way, but we can actually do split view, split screen on the iPad. So I'm going to go back to Keynote. And I'm going to do the same thing, except now I'm going to take my Safari and I'm going to hold it and drag it to the right. So watch how I do it. Hold it, and then I'm going to drag it to the right when this opens. And now I have 2 screens. I'm going to tap on here, and I have split view. You can change how big your split view is. And I'm going to put and search for The Giver book. And I'm going to use one of the images. And here I have different images for the giver in the book. Let's see, I'm going to pick this one. And all I need to do is actually, I can hold this picture and I can just drag it right into Keynote. And look how easy that was. Now, if I want to get rid of Safari, all I need to do is pull on this slider and go all the way to the right to close, and now I'm back in Keynote. So I'm going to use the bottom corner or the top corner or the side corner to make it smaller and fit in the middle. Perfect. Okay, so that's how I add an image from Safari and do a split view and drag and drop it. Now I'm going to add the title and the author in the first box. So I'm going to go to, I can either copy and paste it or I can add another box, text box. I'm just going to copy and paste it because I think that's easier and faster. And the title of the book is The Giver by and I want it to stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to go to paintbrush and I'm going to make it a bigger font. Let's see, maybe 34. And I can make it look even cooler if I go to style and I can create a shadow. So now it looks a little bit like it stands out a little bit more. So I like that. And I'm going to copy and paste it below. And in here, I'm just going to change the wording. And it's fiction. And you could see how that made it look like a shadow too. All right, so we're gonna go to what is this book about? So I'm gonna add that title, copying and pasting it. And if you already copied it once, you don't have to do copy and paste, it will paste by itself. So, and I'm gonna show you really cool features. Instead of typing this time, I'm actually going to dictate. I'm gonna tell the iPad what to say. Now this is great for your learners who are having a hard time with typing, maybe are slow with it, or maybe they just want, they're better at speaking than typing. So keyboard when I'm done. Now this is sort of big, so how do I make this smaller? I'm going to go to text and make it a little smaller. And now how do I make this fit in that box? Like we did before with the blue dot. And I can just drag it right here. Now let's see if it right, if it says what I said. It's a story about a society with citizens who have no memories of the past except for one individual called the receiver of memory. And I want to spell the receiver of memory capital letter, actually. Okay. And then I can do the same exact thing in the bottom. So would I recommend this book? Who would I recommend it to and why? Cat face you. Yeah, that's not what I wanted to say. That's okay. I can just fix that. Okay. And actually here I want to say period, but I said comma. That's okay. You can just fix it. All right. And make it smaller. What size was this font? I think I made it 23. So I'll make that the same. All right, so we have one more box, and this one is draw your favorite part of the book. Now, one of my favorite parts of the book is when Jonas notices colors for the first time and sees the apple change the color from being black and white to actual color of the apple, so red. So I'm actually going to draw in here. Keynote lets you draw inside. So I'm going to go to the plus, and I'm going to go to and drawing. It's on the right side. On the bottom it says drawing. Now actually, before I do the drawing, I'm going to find a shape of an apple because I'm not the best artist. I'm going to find if I can see an apple shape. So I'm going to go to plus, and I'm going to go to shapes, and see that magnifying glass? You can actually search for any shape. If you want to find a shape of an apple, look, it shows you a shape of an apple. And I can put it anywhere I want. There's so many different shapes to look through. You don't have to search for it with the magnifying glass. You can look through it this way. So you can see there's so many different shapes. And you can change colors and styles and all of that, same that you change with text. So I'm going to make this apple actually white. And I'm not going to keep it, but I am going to use it to help me. Oh, maybe I need to have a different color. Let's do gray. And I'm actually going to use it to draw over it, and then I'm going to delete that so it looks like I drew the apple really well. So now I'm going to go to plus again. Go to the options. What am I going to add? I'm going to add a drawing. And you'll see all these different tools that pop up that I can draw with. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see this a little better. And I'm going to pick a marker. And when I tap on the marker, it allows me to pick the thickness of the marker and the opacity to draw with. I'm going to stick with that. Thinness, and I'm going to keep it black. So now I'm just going to draw the outline of the apple. And again, I don't have to be perfect. Okay. And now I'm going to fill it in with different colors. Now I am going to do kind of like gray and white, or gray crayon, to showcase. Maybe I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to make it thicker to make it look like black and white. Half of the apple I'm going to do in this color, and then half of the apple I'm actually going to do in the color that Jonas can see. I'm going to do the leaf green, and then the stem brown. Okay, done. Now I want to delete the back of it, so I don't want to have this gray apple. So all I need to do is click on delete, and I have my drawing, and I can resize it and make it however I want. Now I'm going to show you one more quick thing, which is an animation that you can do, but you don't have to, but I think it's a cool thing to see. So if I tap on this image and I go to animate right over here, I'm going to add an action. Actually, not an action, sorry. I'm going to add a built-in. And that built-in is called line draw. So if I click on line draw, now see what happens. You can see the process of me drawing that. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool to see. So I'm going to add that. And if I were to play my presentation, that's what you could see. So I am almost done. I have two more things I want to do. I forgot in the recommendation to add stars to tell our audience how many stars this book would receive. So I'm actually going to add it in shapes. And I'm going to find star. I'm not going to draw the stars this time. I'm just, oops, I think it's hiding here. So I'm just going to make them a little smaller. And then change the color right away. And then I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to do 5 stars. Now, again, remember the yellow line? It will show you actually so that they are all in the same height. Perfect. And one last thing, I'm going to add the color to this because I think it's sort of sad. So I'm going to change the color, and I can go to color of the background. Let's see, I'm going to add a color to my presentation, and I'm going to add a little image of a book just to beautify it a little bit. You know what? Not this book. I'm going to add this book. And what I can do is I can actually change the color of this to white in the paintbrush. Now, you may be wondering, well, wait a second, like now it's covering everything. I can actually send this to the back so you can't see it as well. So if I go to paintbrush again, maybe I can turn down the opacity a little bit. And then if I go to range, right now it's on the front. Right now it's like on top of everything. So I can move it to the back. And now it's just the background. And I think that looks cool. You can add them images to all the boxes if you want. I'm just going to keep it like this. So here it is. This is how you do a book review on Keynote, making your own template and having it for your students. Thanks for